Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we're diving into something pretty mind-blowing in the world of artificial intelligence. We're talking about AI systems that don't just follow a script, but can actually, well, think about their own thinking. We're going to see how an AI can learn from its mistakes, reflect on its own choices, and get better all by itself. So just think about this for a second. What if an AI, after totally messing something up, could actually pause, figure out what went wrong, and then decide to try a completely different tactic next time? Just like we do. It sounds simple, but this one idea is radically changing what AI is capable of. And this ability has a name: AI reflection. It's all about an AI looking inward at its own reasoning process. It's basically the digital version of us going, that did not go as planned. Let's not do that again. This is what really separates a simple dumb program from a truly intelligent system.
Now, to really get a grip on this, we're not going to get lost in a bunch of abstract theory. No, instead, we're going to follow the journey of one specific AI as it learns how to think.
So let's meet the star of our show today, a smart travel agent. Its whole job is to help you plan the perfect trip. And we're going to watch as this power of reflection transforms it from just a basic tool into an actual expert advisor.
And this slide really nails the core difference. A traditional AI travel agent, it's reactive. You give it a budget, it spits out a hotel. It's just following a rigid script. But a reflective agent, that's a whole different animal. It's proactive. It learns from your feedback, it starts to notice patterns, and it's constantly tweaking its own strategy to get better and better. So why is this such a big deal? Well, this ability to reflect gives our travel agent four distinct, you could almost call them superpowers, that make it incredibly effective. Let's break them down.
First up, it just makes way better decisions. Our agent doesn't just forget about you after you book a trip. No, it analyzes your feedback. It starts to notice that, hey, families consistently give higher ratings to hotels with pools. So the next time it's helping a family, it adjusts its own internal weights to prioritize places with a pool. It's thinking about its own thinking to make smarter choices. Second, adaptation. Look, the world isn't static, and a good travel agent can't be either. The moment a travel advisory is issued for a region, this reflective agent just stops recommending it, period. It also picks up on new trends. If it sees a huge spike in people searching for sustainable travel, it adapts and starts suggesting eco-lodges. It actually stays relevant. Third, and this is a really crucial one, is ethical consideration. The agent might notice a pattern. Wow, I'm sending thousands of tourists to the same tiny village, and that might be causing over-tourism. By reflecting on that bigger impact, it can change its own strategy and start suggesting cool, alternative places that are less crowded. It learns to align what it's doing with more complex, long-term goals. And finally, it just gets so much better at interacting with us humans. A reflective agent can kinda read the room. If you sound super excited in your messages, it'll match that energy. But if it senses you're getting frustrated, it can switch gears into a more patient, empathetic style. It makes the whole conversation feel a lot more natural, more human. Okay, so we've seen why reflection is so powerful. Now for the fun part. How does it actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a quick look at the core ideas that make all this possible. The whole foundation is this concept called meta-reasoning. It sounds complex, but it's literally just the process of reasoning about your reasoning. It lets an agent monitor its own thought processes. Just like when we're stuck on a hard problem and we stop and ask ourselves, okay, is the way I'm approaching this even working? All right, let's see this in action. Imagine our agent is planning a trip to Paris. Based on some early info from the user, it sets its internal priorities, these weights for different factors. As you can see here, it starts by putting a really heavy weight on luxury, a full 1.0, while keeping budget way down at 0.2. This is its starting hypothesis for what this user wants. But then, the feedback rolls in, and the user is not happy. The trip was way over budget. This negative feedback is the key. It's the trigger that kicks off the whole reflection process. The agent now knows its first guess was wrong. And here's where the magic happens. The agent uses that meta-reasoning to look at the feedback and compare it to its own internal settings. It realizes, okay, my emphasis on luxury was too high for this person. So you can see it reduces the luxury weight down to 0.9 and bumps the budget weight up to 0.3. It has officially learned from its mistake and adapted for the next time. Now, beyond meta-reasoning, there are two other really key techniques. First is self-explanation. This is when our travel agent might actually say something like, I chose this hotel because it has great ratings and fits your budget. This is great because it builds our trust, but it also helps the agent catch its own flawed logic. The other is self-modeling, where the agent basically keeps an internal map of its own knowledge, and it's constantly updating that map with every new piece of info it gets. Now, you might be thinking this travel agent example is a nice little futuristic idea, but the truth is, this technology isn't just sitting in a research lab somewhere. It is already out here, being used all around us, in some really big ways.
Let's start with something I'm sure most of us have dealt with: customer service chatbots. We've all had good experiences and some pretty bad ones with them, right?
Well, the best ones are reflective. Companies like Zendesk use AI that looks at your satisfaction rating after a chat. If you give it a thumbs down, the AI doesn't just move on. It reflects on that conversation, tries to pinpoint where it went wrong, and then refines its knowledge so it doesn't make the same mistake with the next person.
Next up, an area where this tech is incredibly powerful: personalized marketing. I mean, just think about all those recommendations you see on websites.
Amazon is an absolute master of this. Their AI agents are reflecting constantly, not just on what you bought, but on your browsing history, what you put in your cart and then took out, and even the reviews you read. This reflection happens across billions of data points every single day, which allows them to constantly perfect the product suggestions they show you. And finally, let's look at a really high-stakes application: financial trading systems. In this world, the ability to learn and adapt can literally mean the difference between making millions or losing them. Huge hedge funds like Renaissance Technologies use these reflective trading agents to navigate the crazy ups and downs of the market. These bots are constantly analyzing past trades against what the market is doing right now. Internally, one might think, that strategy worked last week, but with today's volatility, I need to switch things up. This lets them adapt their approach in real time to cut their risks and grab new opportunities. So, the crucial point here is this: reflection is transforming AI from just a tool that follows instructions into a partner that actually learns and grows alongside us. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought to chew on. As AI gets better and better at thinking about its own thinking, how is that going to change how we think about AI? Thanks for joining me on this one.